So you want to know how to get multiple offers, 30% over ask, and all contingencies waived, just like my clients who sold for top dollar in the first weekend? Well, stick around and watch this video because I'm going to show you my exact blueprint on how to sell your home and get you exactly that. What's up guys, Barney Villa here, Realtor with Remax of Boulder. Welcome back to another video where I'm going to help you sell your home for top dollar, get you multiple offers in the first weekend by leveraging the proper blueprint and schematics to follow when listing your home for sale in Boulder, Colorado. So what I'm going to do is break down exactly what you need to do in order to engage the most amount of buyers and get top dollar for your home. Before we jump into tip number one, I want to make sure to remind you guys to like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell because I post content weekly answering all of your questions on how to sell real estate in Boulder, Colorado. And I've also included in the description below my free seller's guide that you can download to make sure that you know and do all the things to attract the right buyer. The first thing that you're going to need to do to sell your home for top dollar is set the asking price. And now this one I put as number one because it really is the most important piece. And there are really two different schools of thought on how to strategize this. One is listing a little low, and the other is listing really high and having to go through price reductions. Now, I don't really recommend that strategy. You know, some realtors will actually specifically set it 15% over what it should be, and then this doesn't really create any market demand, and then your home ends up sitting on the market for far too long, and then you have to go through 5% price reductions all the way back down to where we should have listed to begin with to really get that buyer thinking that this is a deal, and then you can have multiple offers at that point. Because what happens when you list too high is buyers kind of get that impression of what's wrong with the home. And in short, you overpriced it. And especially in this Boulder market, you should be getting multiple offers in the first weekend if you establish this price at the right starting point. So let's say, you know, we do a comparative market analysis, a CMA, right? And this is something that compares your home to the next home next door that's of a similar square footage. But we don't just stop at square footage, we also need to look at the condition of the house. Because even though your house is 2,500 square feet and it's a single story ranch, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but yours is fully updated with quartz countertops, you know, a gorgeous master bath, maybe you even put a steam shower, maybe you refinish the hardwood floors, maybe you put high efficiency appliances in, and then the house next door is the same style ranch, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, same 2,500 square feet, you know, no basement, you know, the curb appeal looks good, but you get in there and they've got Formica countertops and they've got mismatched appliances and things. You know, these houses are not the same. So let's say that house is listing for $950,000, right? And then you, because you have so many things that are upgraded in your house, we can start to list it closer to $1 million. But as we start to go over $1 million, again, the buyers won't think they'll be getting a deal. And especially in this market, if they do think they're getting a deal, so let's say we list it for $999,000, you're going to start to get multiple offers, and we're going to have that bid go up almost to $1.1 million or $1.2 million. And you really can't do that in reverse. You can't start at $1.2 million and then have nobody feel like that they're getting a deal, and then all of a sudden you got to reduce it back down to $1.1 million and then $1.150, and then all of a sudden we're at $950 and we're 3 months into your listing and you're like, why didn't this sell? So again, I don't recommend listing over. I do recommend finding that sweet spot of having a CMA, a comparative market analysis, so that you can really know what price to sell at so that you can get multiple offers and sell it for top dollar. So if you're still struggling or a little confused about where to price your home, comment CMA right now and I'm happy to send you a free report on what your home is worth. The second thing we'll discuss is photos. And the first thing I'm going to say is no cell phones, please. Please hire a professional photographer to come in and take excellent photos of your house. And also make sure it's clean when you do it. No unmade beds, no dirty dishes in the sink, no magnets all over the refrigerators, you know, not even toothpaste or anything on the bathroom countertops. Please get professional photos. This is absolutely crucial in today's times because people are going to find you online and the first thing they're going to see is those pictures. And if you have only cell phone quality pictures, and I know the iPhone's great, I'm actually not even filming on an iPhone right now. I do sometimes for my tours, but ultimately for the MLS, and if you're going to list it on Zillow or wherever you're going to list it, they need to have professional photos. Point number 3 is going to be on videos, which is actually just an extension of the photos, but in today's times, they need a walkthrough. They need to know the distance between the kitchen and the living room and the dining room. And they're going to need you to see where the bedrooms are in relation to the bathrooms. So today's buyers are going to be researching you online. So you absolutely must have a video walkthrough, maybe even a floor plan or some kind of breakdown, giving buyers a chance to actually feel like they're in the house before they even get there, so that these photos and videos really entice them to even want to go see the house to begin with. The 4th thing you're going to need to know is disclosures. So in the state of Colorado, we have this fancy document called the Seller's Property Disclosure. And when I list homes for my clients, I make sure this is filled out first and presented in the MLS so that everybody has access to it. Because if you do it the other way around and they come see the home and then they read the Seller's Property Disclosure and they find something in there they didn't like, then there's no offer to be made. So if you can present the disclosure up front and first and give it details like age of the roof or age of the water heater, or if there were cracks in the foundation or if there was a leak in the roof that you fixed, you have a chance to kind of get ahead of that so the buyers can understand all the details of the home. And this is extremely important because, again, you don't really want to do it after the fact. If we do it up front, you're going to have a better chance to get the buyer really excited about your home and then come see your home and thus make an offer and get your home sold much faster. So the 5th point that we're going to go over is marketing, and it's absolutely essential that you get this one right. So if you put all the other things in place, like price, the photos, the videos, and the disclosures, this is really going to help buyers understand why they should buy your home. So if you put it on places like Zillow and Craigslist, this is great, and just make sure you put all that information on there. So again, the buyers have a really good look at your home before they ever come see it. Another thing I like to do is put out mailers to 150 home radius around the house that we're selling to make sure that all the neighbors know that you're selling. Because there is a statistic that says about 80% of homes get purchased by a neighbor who was renting and now wants to buy and live in that same neighborhood. So that's extremely important. Signs in your yard are another one, but I think the statistic is less than 4% of homes get sold by signs in their yard. I've even seen homes get sold without signs in their yard, especially if all that marketing information is available online. As an example, there are some condos and HOAs that don't even allow you to put signs in your yard. So again, just putting a sign that says for sale up on your yard is not really going to draw attention to your home in these times where everyone is searching everything on the internet. So another thing I like to do is what we call a single property website, where I put out a whole website and actually put all the SEO and the back-end Google Analytics on it so that it gets, again, maximum exposure to buyers. Another thing you can do is put it in magazines. You can put it in newspapers. You can put flyers out there. You can market to your heart's content. But I will say the #1 way to get your home sold the fastest is to put it on the MLS, which, if you're not familiar with the acronym, it's the Multiple Listing Services, but you do need a realtor to do that. And especially with my connections and my network, I may even be able to get you sold off market and get you better terms to make sure that you're really happy with the sale. So again, you can do all these things for marketing, but it is going to be a cost up front, and I do highly recommend paying for advertising to make sure that you get the most exposure you can to these buyers, to make sure that when they get there, they're going to want to put a hefty offer. So before we go, I definitely want you to know some of the downsides to selling the house on your own. And the first downside is definitely going to be the type of buyers that you're going to get if you sell for sale by owner. The first type of buyer you're going to get is an investor. Now, these people have zero attachment to your house, and they're probably flippers, or they're probably doing it for some investment to get some money on the back end of it. So they're definitely going to be looking for a deal. And these investors hunt for sale by owners, and they're going to come in with lowball bids, and you're going to get very frustrated trying to work with them, especially if they come in with things like cash offers and say they're going to close in 7 days. This gets very tricky because they can just pull out for any reason, and then you've wasted a lot of time and your energy trying to get this home sold. The second type of buyer that you're going to get is a person who has really bad credit. And usually what they're going to ask you is if they can do what they call owner financing. Now, I do and don't recommend this because ultimately it's up to you and your motivations on how quickly you want to sell. Now, this is a very savvy thing to do for an investor to offer owner financing and actually reap the interest that the bank would normally get on this loan. But again, if these people don't have great credit and can't get a normal loan, I'm very nervous for you trying to accept an offer where you're funding the sale of the house. The other thing that they're going to do is going to ask for a lease option. And this is really up to you. So a lease option is where they rent the house from you with an option to buy later. So again, this is really up to you and your motivations of how quickly you want to sell. But if you've already, let's say, gone under contract on another home when you purchase your dream home, and it's contingent upon the sale of this home, and you're going to try to sell it for sale by owner, and this first person that comes to you is going to be like, hey, I want a lease with an option to buy maybe in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, I just don't see this being the ideal situation for you. The second downside to selling your home on your own is definitely going to be the showings. So let's say you're at work, it's great, and all of a sudden you get a call at 10 a.m. and somebody wants to come see your house at 1 p.m. You really can't put a lockbox on the door. It's people just, you're not going to want people to show up at your house and when you're not there. And then you're going to have to make the decision, do I leave work to go do the showing? Because again, you really can't put a lockbox on the door and you're going to have to be there for every single showing. And this is not really ideal for most people unless you work from home. And again, the buyers, when they're there, don't really want the owners there when they're trying to make a decision on if they want to buy your house or not. So it's going to put you in a very sticky situation. Again, how do you show these homes without representation from a real estate agent that can be there for every single showing if that's what you want them to be, or only other licensed real estate agents can open that lockbox that your realtor can put on that door. Again, this is about your safety and the safety of your home, and this becomes a very precarious situation that I would not want to see you, have any trouble with. So that's the structure that I use to sell every one of my listings. And by leveraging these points, you can get more eyeballs on your home and sell your listing for well over ask. If you have any other questions or any other experiences selling a home, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and check out my next video, how to price your home to sell, and I'll see you in the next one.